Welcome to the Colorado Broker Podcast. You probably look at a $250,000 house and just naturally assume you need like $50,000 in cash just to unlock the front door.
Right. I mean, that's the number everyone always has in their head.
Exactly. But what if I told you the median down payment right now is actually just 9%?
Yeah, it completely flips the script.
It really does. So the topic today is all about dismantling these massive, seemingly impenetrable concrete walls that are standing between you and homeownership. And when you look at the sources we have spanning financial institutions, real estate guides, expert analyses, they all point to the same thing. The biggest barriers aren't actually financial. They're psychological.
Oh, absolutely. It's a massive psychological trap.
hmm
I mean, just look at the data. Home equity and retirement accounts make up about 60% of a household's net worth.
Wow, 60%.
60%. But because of this heavy mix of debt anxiety and, just a general fear of the complex financial system, people are actively delaying this huge wealth building step. They essentially just bench themselves.
They get stuck on the sidelines.
Right. So the whole mission of our discussion today is to get you off those sidelines by replacing those terrifying assumptions with actual concrete facts.
I love that. Well, let's start with the biggest assumption of them all. Because before we even touch on complex financial strategies or interest rates, we really have to clear that first mental hurdle, the down payment.
Yeah, the classic dream killer.
Exactly. It's like this imaginary bouncer at a club. You see him at the door and you just assume he's going to turn you away because you don't have 20% in cash, so you don't even bother getting in line.
But the reality is, you're already on the guest list. That 20% rule is largely a myth today. Like you said, the median for first-time buyers is around 9%. But I mean, even that's just an average.
Right, because there are loans that go way lower than that.
Way lower. Many standard loans require only 3.5% down, and some literally require 0% down.
Wait, stop there for a second. 0% down, because if I'm a bank, why on earth would I lend someone hundreds of thousands of dollars with no skin in the game?
Well, because they aren't taking all the risk. We're talking about government-backed loans here, like VA loans for veterans or USDA loans for rural development.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the federal government guarantees a portion of the loan. The bank knows the government will step in if you default, so they don't actually need your cash up front to mitigate their risk. And if you don't fit into those specific boxes, FHA loans only require 3.5%.
Okay, so the bank's risk is covered. But, even 3.5% can be tough to scrape together for a lot of people.
Sure, absolutely.
The sources mention all these down payment assistance programs, and one thing that stood out was this mortgage credit certificate, or MCC. It says it reduces your federal tax liability. How does that actually work in the real world?
It's actually a pretty incredible tool. So let's say at the end of the year, your federal tax bill is $5,000. If you qualify for a $2,000 MCC, that isn't just some standard deduction that lowers your taxable income. It's a direct credit.
Meaning it literally wipes out the tax you owe.
Exactly. It wipes $2,000 right off that bill. So now you only owe $3,000.
That's great and all, but how does a tax break in April help me pay my mortgage in July?
Because you don't actually wait until tax season. Once you get that MCC, you go straight to your employer and legally adjust your W-2 withholdings.
Oh, wow.
Right. So they take fewer taxes out of every single paycheck. You bring home more liquid cash all year long, and you use that extra cash to comfortably make your mortgage payment.
That is brilliant. It's really about managing cash flow, not just hoarding a pile of cash.
Exactly.
And the sources also mention you can use a 401k to source funds. But, doesn't that trigger massive early withdrawal penalties?
It does if you withdraw it. But the trick here is borrowing against it. A lot of 401k plans let you take a loan out against your own balance, so you aren't paying a tax penalty. And the interest you pay on that loan, it goes right back in your own retirement account.
And so if the 20% number is totally fake, how do people find their real number without just getting incredibly overwhelmed?
You have to talk to a professional.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't wait until you have the money to talk to a lender. You talk to a lender to find out exactly how much money you actually need.
Okay, so let's say I do that. I get off the sidelines, I talk to a lender, and I find out my down payment is totally doable. I'm feeling great.
But then reality sets in.
Exactly. I suddenly remember, oh, right, I have $40,000 in student loan debt. And my confidence just tanks. How much does that past debt actually hold you back?
Well, it can be a significant hurdle. Data shows that for every $1,000 increase in student loan debt, homeownership rates drop by about 1.5%.
Wow. So people are just putting off buying entirely.
Yeah, it translates to an average delay of over 2 months per $1,000. So we are seeing people delay buying a home until they're around 35 years old.
Which is huge because that's years of paying someone else's mortgage instead of building your own equity. But I mean, if I have that much debt, my instinct would be to just put my student loans into forbearance, pay the bare minimum on my credit cards, and aggressively hoard cash under my mattress to save for the house.
Oh, please don't do that.
Why not? Wouldn't that solve the cash problem?
No, because mortgage underwriters don't just look at your bank account balance. They deeply analyze your active credit profile. If you pause your student loans, you stop generating an active, positive payment history.
Oh, I see.
And if you're hoarding cash but surviving on credit cards, your credit utilization ratio, which is how much debt you're carrying compared to your limits, is going to completely spike.
And that tanks your credit score.
Exactly. And when your score drops, lenders see you as a higher risk, which means they charge you a higher interest rate. That could cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan.
So hoarding cash actually makes the house way more expensive.
Yes, you definitely don't need to be 100% debt-free to buy a house, but you have to balance your debt-to-income ratio properly.
So how does a professional actually help with that debt-to-income ratio?
They look at your specific profile and find the exact debt that's hurting you the most. Say you have $5,000 in savings. You could throw that at a down payment, but it won't really change your monthly cost.
Right.
But if you use that $5,000 to completely wipe out a $400 a month car payment,
Yeah.
you instantly eliminate a huge monthly liability and your debt-to-income ratio improves dramatically.
So it's about doing these surgical strikes on your debt instead of just, randomly throwing money at the wall.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But doing that means you have to actually look at your credit score, and people carry so much shame about that, they just hide from it.
Yeah, it feels like this permanent record of your financial failures.
Right, but I always tell people to use the grades analogy. Your credit score isn't a permanent judgment of your character. It's literally just like a grade in school.
Oh, I like that. Like, if you fail a math test, you don't just drop out of school forever. You get a tutor, you turn in your late homework, and you bring the grade up.
Exactly. It's just a snapshot in time. You can absolutely pull those grades up with a strategic game plan.
Okay, so I've pulled my grades up, I did a surgical strike on my car loan, and I have my down payment, I'm ready. But then I go online, I plug the house price into a generic calculator, and the monthly payment it spits out is absolutely terrifying.
Oh, the payment shock.
Yes,
Yeah.
payment shock. The sources highlight this big time. Like 46% of people feel the cost of living is just too high, and 35% are struggling with a lack of affordable homes. The market is scary right now.
It is. But the best way to handle that sheer terror is to decode what that monthly number actually is. Because a generic online calculator doesn't know your specific situation. You have to break that number down into PITI.
PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance.
Right.
So principal is basically just a forced savings account where you're building your equity. Interest is the bank's fee, taxes are set by the county, and insurance protects the house.
Exactly. And when you realize there are 4 separate gears turning in there, you realize you can actually manipulate those gears, specifically the interest gear, to combat that payment shock.
You're talking about buy downs, right? The sources spend a lot of time on this.
Yeah, buy downs are crucial right now.
So I know there are permanent buy downs where you essentially pay a fee upfront on closing day to permanently lower the interest rate for all 30 years.
Right. But the temporary buy downs are where things get really creative, especially the 2-1 buy down. This is usually funded by the seller or maybe a builder to incentivize you to buy.
Okay, so break down the mechanics of a 2-1 buy down for me.
Sure. Let's say the current market rate is 6%. With a 2-1 buy down, your rate is subsidized by 2% for the first year. So your monthly payment is calculated at 4%.
Wow, okay.
Then in year 2, the subsidy steps up to 1%. So your payment is based on a 5% rate. And then finally in year 3, it settles at the actual 6% for the rest of the loan.
It's like having financial training wheels. Or, it's like getting a roommate who agrees to pay a huge chunk of your rent for the first year, a little less the second year, and then moves out. It gives you time to buy furniture, settle in, and maybe increase your income before taking on the full payment.
That is a perfect way to look at it.
Mm.
Mechanically, the seller just takes some of their profit at closing and puts it into an escrow account. Every month, the lender takes your 4% payment and then pulls the rest out of that escrow account to make themselves whole at 6%.
But wait, what if interest rates drop during year 2 and I decide to refinance to lock in a permanently lower rate? Do I just lose all that seller money sitting in the escrow account?
Nope, not at all.
Really?
Yeah. If you refinance, the remaining funds in that account are fully refunded to you. Usually, they just apply it directly to your principal balance, instantly lowering your loan amount.
Oh, that is a game changer. But honestly, hearing all this buy downs, PITI, mortgage credits, certificates, it feels like I would just drown in the paperwork trying to figure this out myself.
Well, you shouldn't be doing it yourself. Navigating all these loopholes and buy downs is not a DIY project. You absolutely need to assemble a professional team.
Because they have access to specialized tools, right?
Exactly. There are specialized, out-of-the-box loan programs available right now that you will never find on a standard banking app.
Like the bank statement mortgages for gig workers?
Yeah. I mean, if you're a freelancer making 100 grand a year, but you take massive tax write-offs, your tax return might say you only make 40,000. A normal underwriter will deny you. But a bank statement mortgage looks at 12 to 24 months of your actual bank deposits to prove your real cash flow.
That's amazing. And the sources also mention specialized loans for teachers, doctors, firefighters, and even seniors on fixed incomes, or even exploring alternative paths like rent-to-own or shared ownership.
Which is exactly why your team matters. You need a loan officer for the math, a real estate agent for local market insight and off-market listings, and a financial advisor to make sure it fits your big picture.
And it doesn't stop once you get the keys. The sources suggest treating your mortgage like an investment portfolio. You should do an annual mortgage checkup.
Yes, absolutely. You sit down once a year, look at the equity you've built, check the current interest rates, and see if you can leverage that equity to maybe step up to a dream home or consolidate high-interest debt.
Right. Okay, so just to recap our discussion today, stop guessing your down payment and relying on that fake 20% myth. Treat your credit like grades you can improve. Demystify that terrifying monthly payment by understanding PITI and using buy downs. And most importantly, build a great local team to find those specialized programs.
Exactly. And, I just want to leave everyone with a final thought to really mull over. We constantly tell ourselves, I'll figure it out when I'm more ready.
Yeah.
But more ready never just miraculously shows up on its own. Momentum starts the exact second you replace the phrase, I'm afraid that, with the phrase, I know.
Yeah. So what is one financial assumption you're carrying right now that you could replace with a concrete fact this week?
Wow. Replace the fear with a fact.
Okay.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this discussion. Take that crucial first step, find your real numbers, and let's get you off the sidelines. We will catch you next time.